did end up with finally, oh, go ahead. So I wanted to talk about the OCP Summit. We did end up through Craig's and others' efforts to get a time in a room for having a kind of an informal discussion for the telco and edge projects. I just sent kind of a blurb to put in advertising for that time slot. And I thought we'd talk that through today and make sure that we're making kind of the right appeal. Let me see if I can do this. Give me a second here. So if you guys go to chat, I put in I'll try it that way first. I put in a kind of a statement of what I want to have happen at this discussion at OCP Summit. Let's see. Can you guys see the whiteboard?
Yes, we can.
I can.
Even better. So this was a short blurb I put together to try and give some information about what we're going to talk about at this hour-long thing. It's at 12 noon. I forget which day and room it is. I think I'm hoping Michael has that information. I think he does. I think he mentioned it last week, but I just forgotten exactly the day and the room. And so you can look at the second sentence there, and open to any comments that people have about other topic areas that we might want to bring up during this hour-long discussion. My intention is, once we've got this in place, I'm going to reach out to some of our telco customers, like AT&T, Deutsche Telekom, others, and try and specifically invite them to come. I think we all understand that some of the slowness in our projects has to do with some of the customers not engaging as much as they have over the last years and such.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the approach for this this hour at the OCP Summit.
Yeah, it would be interesting to get opinions on AI at the edge, and I think there's a lot to be thought about there.
Yeah, that's kind of why I specifically put that in there. I think that's an important topic. And other than that, it's kind of, general products and kind of the environments that we continue to expect to have the telco and edge groups consider in terms of deployment environments, right?
Yeah.
So any comments? I think those of you with OCP will have this in your inboxes. You can take a look at it there as well.
Yeah, I was looking to try to see if I could find when the room was, but I just see something about 114 or 111, 112 something, but I don't see a real.
Yeah, I think Kate and found a specific room, and I think Michael Schill knows where that's at. I'm hoping. Otherwise, we can find out.
Well, because then you and Rippon are planning to be there, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't make it.
Nope. John, you going to be there or not?
No, I won't be able to make it.
Okay. We'll cover Edge for you then. All right. So this should end up someplace on the official schedule at OCP as a I don't know what kind of session they're gonna refer to it as, but it's over 12 noon to 1 o'clock, and in a room with tables and chairs. No presentations per se, more just discussion and sharing about what's going on in the telco and edge parts of the market.
Yeah, because one of the interesting things with the edge and telco is you have the near real time RIC that has the potential to have AI in it, and then you have sort of these things where you may start learning to do augmented reality, and so there's kind of positions of where you could put these accelerator resources.
Yeah.
There's this trade-off of latency, and especially when you're talking about augmented reality or virtual reality things, just the rendering alone consumes a lot of latency budget, and so that is an interesting thing. And then you could also talk about augmented reality, virtual reality, and AI. So like having the AI interact with a virtual or augmented reality could also be interesting.
Yeah,
that consume a lot of resources at the edge, and then you've got kind of the power and cooling and just space issues.
Yeah, and I think there's some sense that some of those workloads could be taken up just by putting CPU blades or CPUs out at the edge that have a lot of cores. So I know like Intel was starting to build some of their CPU that had like over 100 cores, right, which gives you a lot of parallelism to attack those tasks.
Yeah, that's coming out, and then there's a lot of this chiplets and including neural processors alongside on the same die with the CPU and things like that.
Yeah, some AI capability or some parallel neural network optimization processing in enough to deal with some of the edge workloads and stuff. I was at there was a conference a couple of weeks ago, the AI Hardware and Edge Conference. I don't know if any of you guys ended up going to that.
No.
But it was interesting. One of the things I got from that was that a lot of the stuff that's trying to be done. So there's some companies very well positioned to it. And the comment was that, you know, there's already distributed networks that are content distribution networks. And in the past, their resources have focused on, you know, server and lots of storage, right, for doing content distribution or video distribution. And they had to make that, and they had to work out those fundamental algorithms for how do you deal with static content, and then how do you deal with dynamic content where you have to go, you know, further back up into the cloud to get information you need to generate web pages or customize web pages, or the dynamic part of interaction with users. So they've already kind of got part of that problem solved, and a lot of some of the content distribution companies, they're looking at how do I add more processing and add, you know, GPU or AI ML related hardware to my content distribution system. And it has this kind of the same interesting problem you were talking about, which is, okay, so, you know, how do I really split my application between what I need to do locally because of latency? What do I have to do in terms of, you know, static content that I can you know, store in many geographic locations, and how do you do dynamic stuff that's still coming down? So I think there's a whole set of, you know, stuff that's not clearly understood right now about just application development to make these you know, AI on the edge work.
Well, it's interesting too, because, you know, typically, you know, you had sort of this CSP vertical in there, but, you know, there's kind of this companion idea that's starting to come up with what they call neutral host. And the idea is that this would be kind of where like the tower providers are, right? So the tower providers, you know, have that geography, and they could start to deploy some of these things, you know, at the tower sites. So, you know, it kind of could open up the potential for, you know, going outside of, you know, telco being CSP, but start to embrace this neutral host idea. Yeah, I think we talked about, you know, Castle and some of these other guys are kind of in space.
Maybe we should invite them specifically to come to this hour and talk with us.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to do specific invitations versus just sending out, you know, a general invitation to the entire telco and edge mailing list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? So I'm just kind of, my brain's kind of just wandering here for a second. You know, if you're going to have kind of this interactive setup, you know, could we do like a Zoom call that could be sort of like an extension of our telco and edge, so that, you know, maybe even people that aren't attending could also participate, and, you know, kind of do it
in the conversation? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Craig?
Yeah, but the only thing is, I don't think we could, the OCP probably wouldn't be able to host that aspect. But obviously, you know, say Lauren or Rippon could open their laptop and then, you know, host the call. I don't think that would be a problem at all, but I'm not sure how much support the OCP would be able to give.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it could be a little ad hoc, right? Like, you know, if Lauren and Rippon are there, they can both flip up with their laptops, and I'm not assuming you're going to have thousands of people in that room. So, you know, if, you know, we have a few people, you know, and then we can kind of make an extension of, you know, our typical calls. But it would,
I mean, I think all we would need to do is just send out an email to the list, you know, advertising this, you know, ad hoc call, so that folks would know to join the Zoom call, and then someone should just host it from the room.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe let's maybe think about that, and, you know, we can maybe chat offline here and see if we want to do that.
Okay, let's take that offline, see if we can make that work, and then we can, you know, a few days before the OCP summit starts, we can send out a invite to the distribution lists with all that information in it.
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see all these guys doing all this AI ML stuff in terms of learning and our model training and stuff like that. I keep trying to understand, you know, who's going to take this and you know, try and do inference in a way that can make money. I think, you know, some of the big cloud players, they're obviously using AI to boost their customer interaction through the tools they already have, right? So Meta and Google and Microsoft. But at least a couple of those, you know, they're boosting they're increasing their level of service, but they're already based on advertising revenue for their major part of their income, right? They've already monetized it to some extent. They're just improving the quality of service for something they've already monetized. But I think the hope that a lot of people have for AI, especially inference, is that, you know, there'll be a bunch of different players that will figure out how to monetize that aren't based on advertising necessarily, right?
Yeah.
So, Lauren, you may want, if depending on your interest level, the 3GPP, you know, has started work on the 6G standardization.
Yeah.
And there's two different efforts underway. One is called AI Inside, which is using AI for the 6G protocols themselves. But then there's another effort that's underway for AI as a service, so that would be one of the products that would be offered on 6G, kind of the same way, you know, the 5G had mobile broadband, IoT, you know, there's a couple of other use cases or, you know, applications that were focused. And so there is an AI as a service area that's being focused for 6G, in addition to the AI inside, they call it. So there's, you know,
Okay.
couple of different aspects, but yeah, that's all that's going on in the 3GPP standardization process.
Okay. Maybe we should, maybe this little paragraph here, I should add something directly related to 6G and mobile.
Yeah, I mean,
stuff. That makes sense.
yeah, and I think, you know, the 6G is emerging, whatever, right? So they're still kind of developing the use cases that are, you know, how that's going to be talked about so that everybody kind of has the same. And I noticed there was also a focus on AR and
augmented reality. Yeah.
Yep, augmented reality, because that requires some low latency, high bandwidth processing that'll be as one of the use cases. And then the other was broadband IoT. So basically it was narrowband IoT in the in 5G. And so that's going to be expanded in 6G. And that could end up being some kind of AI stuff as well, because then you have the IoT being sensors and using that as inputs. So, I mean, like I said, they're all still kind of talking about these use cases, and, you know, but that's a place to get more information. And then it also maybe point out some of the players and the people who are interested in it, because who's discussing it and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I will set an updated paragraph here that includes some of this stuff related to 6G. That's a good topic to add, I think. All right. Any other questions or comments? I think We'll close it here if we're done. All right, so I'll update this paragraph and send it back to Michael for, advertising through the normal OCP event stuff. We will work on getting an online meeting or online meeting set up for this time.
Sounds good.
And figure out if we can invite some specific people to this hour of discussion. Yep, those three.
Yeah, I'll reach out to some of the people I know in the neutral host space and see if we can
Yeah. That'd be great
on the thing. Okay. Sounds good.
Well, have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks, Lauren. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.